were multiple versions of you stacked up with one on each other. So why the spiritual or the sages call like quantum leaping or quantum jumping or whatever, what they're talking about is this particular truth, is that there were multiple versions of you already in the quantum field. Which version of you want to access, or which reality you want to live, it depends on your current vibration frequency. So literally what you were just saying, claiming that identity, claiming that new identity, it's because you want to jump to that version of you.
Welcome to the show, Helen. I'm excited to talk to you today because after 500 something episodes, it's hard to find people with unique perspectives and talking points. And so the idea of the aura color wheel system just really, really intrigued me. I took the quiz on your site, already felt super aligned with who I am. And so I'm curious, what is the core philosophy behind the aura color wheel system? And how is it different from maybe traditional approaches to self-discovery and healing?
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Melissa. So basically the underlying or the core philosophy of the aura color wheel is your soul, or at the deepest level, that you are made of light. So basically your light energy. And energy is just information that vibrates. So it carries information about your soul when it incarnated into this body, this lifetime. So the soul aura color, or the layers of the color that comes more vibrant or more radiant, that's around a soul, it tells me that you are born with this particular soul gift, meaning that, this particular aura layer, you are stronger. However, the aura layer that's a little bit dimmer or darker or kind of subside in the background, it tells me that this is the soul that needs to heal this particular aura layer wound. And the other aura layers that's neither super vibrant or super dim, they are kind of in the middle. So those are one's soul lessons. So the basis of all of these is because we are made of light energy at a soul level.
That does make a lot of sense. I mean, that's what everything is, light. Yes. Even what we see as matter, the basis of it, the smallest particles, it's all just light.
Yes, it's light, sound, vibration, frequency, and wavelength. That's all that is.
How do you define the purpose of our incarnation here, or even the processes of our soul evolution?
Yes. So basically the purpose, that we're walking as human beings in this lifetime is pretty much threefold. So that's the information in the aura color wheel, is to use your soul gift to be of service in exchange with fulfillment and abundance. Right? So if you're super in alignment with your soul gift, you're on fire. And the second is to heal the soul wounds that we haven't resolved from past lives, so that it will remove all the blockages for us to manifest our, best life in terms of health, wealth, relationships, and everything. And the last piece of the soul's purpose of this evolution journey is to integrate our soul lessons that we have learned into our daily life, so that we don't go back to the older version of ourselves. So that's why I was saying that this is the evolution journey. And at the end of it is that we are going to incorporate all 7 layers, all 7 aura layers of light, all the rainbow of light. So none of them is our soul wound, none of them is our soul lesson. So we radiate all of it. So eventually we become mostly white or even golden. And that's what, Buddha or Jesus Christ have walked the human path and achieved enlightenment. Why is it called enlightenment? It's literally because we are light. And once you heal all your wounds, learn all your lessons, all you have is just gift, and you become white or golden. That's why they have the golden halos around their top crown chakra.
Oh, it's all coming together now. So I know you talk about there being 3 types of aura colors.
Yes.
What are they, and how do they interact or change over someone's lifetime?
Yeah, that's very, very important because I know, aura readers, or especially just started to practice, just able to perceive it. They always come to me saying that, hey, Helen, you know what? Our aura color changes all the time. How can you tell my soul's purpose by something that changes all the time? I said that, yeah, you're right and wrong at the same time. Because you're right at that. Yeah, what you're talking about is your mood aura. So your mood aura is around your face because, like, as we're happy, we're upset, it can change in any, like, every 5 minutes we can have a different mood, and we can even intuitively pick it up even though you're not psychic. For example, if someone's face is turning red, you will know that she is either being shy or turning angry, right? Look at her face is turning red, right? That's just very intuitive, you can pick it up. So that's someone's mood aura. Now that changes all the time. Now the second type of aura is called personality aura. That's around your head. So if you go to take a aura photography, that's pretty much what they are capturing, your personality aura. Are you outgoing, introvert? Are you analytical? Are you intuitive? That only changes when significant life events, happens in your life, and your personality literally alter a bit. So I call it semi-permanent. It's not permanent, it still changes, but it depends. Now, kids or children, their personality aura is not super formed. So they change, they're more fluid. Okay, so those aura color change a little bit more frequent as adulthood. So that's why I call it semi-permanent. Now, this book, or the aura color wheel, we talk about the soul aura. So your soul aura is mainly around your heart chakra. That's also intuitive because that's where your soul resides this lifetime. So that aura color, I would call it the most permanent out of the three. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't change, all right? But it only changes if you either heal a soul wound, or you embody another soul gift archetype, or, like, besides the one that you were born with, you can shape shift into different soul gift archetype this lifetime as you evolve, as well as incorporating a soul lesson. So basically, a particular aura layer or particular rainbow of color, that's no longer your wound. You are changing your gift archetype into something else. That's when it shifts. Now, based on my research, and I have like 36,000 people already taken the course, and I've been using this system for the past 7 years. It seems like, based on my students, myself, and all that, like between around 7 years, it's when we see a really significant change of your soul aura color. So that's like the longest one out of the three. And the cool thing about this system is that it's dynamic. So it's not like, once you take the quiz, if I'm this color, I'm forever this. That's probably most likely be the aura color that you are born with. But as you, especially if you're a spiritual practitioner, you're very, aware where you need to heal, what lessons you need to learn as your soul growth in a higher and higher light quotient level. You will realize that you might embody multiple soul gift archetype at the same time, because aura color is not one static color, like color in, like solid. Okay, so if you perceive aura, it's like ripple, like a water ripple or reflection. It's a spectrum of colors. So it's not like, even if you are mainly green, it might have some yellow inside, it might have some shades of blue inside. It's not completely solid. So that's why, I love the dynamic change of, I call it like choose your own adventure game. Like, you work on this, oh, by the way, now you become a teacher. If you're born this, that's very cool. It's so when I channel it, I got super excited about this system because it's not static. So it's a different than, say, astrology. You have a sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, and that's there. That's your point of incarnation. However, this system also captures all the spiritual work that you've done, this lifetime.
So you mentioned how the soul aura is located mainly around the heart chakra.
Yes.
How do the auras and the chakra relate?
Yes. So basically, the aura is just the electro and magnetic field around you. So if it is the 3D electromagnetic field, you must have a powerhouse, right? Where is this magnetism or electricity power comes from, right? So they come from your chakras, and those are the main energy centers. Now we have I think at least 141 different chakras, but those are minor. The main ones are the ones that we know, along the spine from the root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra. So, and with six of them, so six of the chakra are within our body, because the crown is kind of floating up the head. And that's when Kundalini awakening happens. Once the chakras are all aligned, it opens up your channel to connect with the divine. So the other six aura layer, I call them aura layer. They are actually powered by the chakras, right? So the root chakra power your red aura layer. The heart chakra powers your green aura layer. So those are the six colors of the aura. Whether your powerhouse is strong. For example, if your heart chakra is super strong, then of course your green aura layer, or you have more of the green in your soul aura composition. So that's why it depends on how strong each chakra is, that coincide with different colors inside of your soul aura color composition.
I was also really intrigued when you talk about in your book the role of complementary chakra pairs. And I think it's because I saw throat and sacral, and those are two that just come up in my life a lot, and they happen to be complementary chakra pairs. Tell us about what they mean according to achieving energetic balance, or why they tend to pair in this way.
Yes, I love that because that's a universal law of yin and yang. So I explained that also in the book. That's how the universe works. If there is yin, there's always yang. If there is feminine, there is always masculine. And in the color world, it's basically the opposite. It's like the opposite attract, right? It's always the opposite balance each other. So if you're an artist or designer, you work with color and light in that way, you know what I'm talking about. So in a color wheel, the direct opposite, so the direct opposite of the color wheel, the two colors are the complementary to each other. So basically, if you, for example, if your throat chakra is really strong, right, and sometimes it's overactive, right? It can be dormant, that's not as strong, but sometimes it's overactive. You actually want to use the other color to kind of balance it. It's all about balance and wholeness. Think about it. It's all about healing, and at the end of the day, we want white, right? We want all of them. So if you have too much of one, you want the opposite color to balance it out. So same thing goes to if your throat chakra is overactive, you want the orange color. You either want to wear orange, eat orange food, have orange crystals to basically counterbalance it, right? So it's not like if you want to work on your throat chakra, you need to first self-diagnose. Is it the overactive throat chakra, or is it a underactive chakra, right? So that if it is underactive, you want to use the blue crystals, drink the blue tea, right? Eat the blue food in order for it to shine again. So it's like the opposite kind of the balance. Now this also shows up in like a stable couples or long-term relationships. If you are in one side of the spectrum, so if you are your aura color is mainly blue or green shade, right, your partner, your long-term partner, tend to be the opposite side. He or she tend to be either the orange or yellow, and this is one stable couple combination. And the other type is that you are actually analogous. So basically, you are next to each other on the spectrum. Now, those I tend to see that in best friendships, like you are vibing with somebody. And the opposite spectrum tend to be the person that you go to consult with. Like if you don't feel good, I'm because you're overactive on this. You want the other thing to kind of complement you, right? So that's why if you don't feel good, you want to go to that friend or that partner that makes you feel better. That's the opposite effect. So that's why it's always good to look at, and that's how actually the chakras work. As you mentioned, the throat and the sacral, because the sacral governs creativity, And this creativity in the 3D realm, it needs to be expressed to actually channel it out. Now the same thing with the solar plexus, that's yellow and purple, the third eye. The vision that you have, you need to use action to manifest in this. Action is the solar plexus. You need to do the action to actually materialize in the 3D realm. Otherwise it's just a vision in your head, right? And same thing with red and green. Those are also opposite colors. The heart, provide you the security, the groundingness, the love to feel secure and safe in your own body. And they all like the opposite, working together. And same, this law actually applies to your soul gift archetype. So because we all born with two aura layer that are really strong. So that's, all these gifts you have accumulated in many, many lifetimes. And those two aura layer, they are always one with the higher three chakras. So the green, blue, and violet pair up with one of the lower three chakras, the red, orange, and yellow. They don't like just the higher three chakras don't just work with another higher three chakras. Otherwise, you just stay in the etheric realm. You don't manifest in the 3D realm, right? Because the heart is the bridge, that the higher, that's how you communicate, From there, those are the higher three. They deal with more of the, the higher intellect, etheric realms, connecting with your spirit team, intuition, all of the stuff that has nothing to do with food, shelter, those are relationships, and all those 3D realm things. That's why, they're always paired together.
I might be reaching here, but what's coming to my mind, and I can't see like the direct interchangeability, but I'm just thinking a lot of my healing work started from a sexual assault when I was younger. And when I see how I evolved into my young adult years, part of the way I coped was actually becoming kind of promiscuous for a while. And so I see that overactive sacral chakra. And now in my healing, in like my healing generation, I happen to be a podcast host, which deals a lot with the throat chakra. And so I was going back and forth as you were speaking of like, I actually think too, there was a period right when I first was podcasting a lot and going really hard in my career, my sexual desire died down a little bit, and I could blame other things that were going on, and also then getting pregnant and pregnancy and postpartum and stuff like that. But the last 5 years or so have been a lot of balancing that out, focusing on both. And I was just talking in another interview how part of my work as I grow wiser is like, yes, it felt really good to express and be a teacher and be really expressing my throat chakra. But I kept being ready for messages of like wisdom is in the silence or saying less and things like that. So I've been really focusing on that balance, and it's maybe a coincidence. Maybe it's the stage in pregnancy I'm at right now, but my sexual desire has been pretty heightened. And so I'm just watching the two sort of play and go back and forth, and one being dominant and then the other subsiding and then the other one being dominant. And now like finding that place of real balance where it feels like they're both in a healthy place.
Yeah, I love that self-awareness you have. That's so important for any soul work, right? That you awareness comes into play. And definitely pregnancy will change our hormones, and that will affect the sacral chakra quite a bit. And so as this it's a dance, as you said, it's a balanced dance, and we want both of them. And of course, since you had, and also the sacral chakra is where our inner child resides. So if any person who had trauma, anything related to sexual abuse, or any like early childhood, that's like shame or guilt or something like that happens around there, that's something that we need to heal from a soul level, like inner child healing, like that's, and sometimes it might not be just you happening this lifetime. Sometimes it can be ancestral as well. So meaning that you might be just, one of the ones that experience what had happened in the mother line. I had clients that had like 16 generations of sexual abuse and suppression. And of course, like by the time but not the other generations, they don't want to face it. They just want to, bear it down. They never talk about it. And by the time that she has it, it's like real strong. So that's why also this oracle system help you to really dive really deep into like something from your soul level, so not just a symptom level, but like you can relate it to, either like past life. Sometimes it happens maybe in your past life. It might not just happen this lifetime. It's a repeating pattern. No matter what your wound aura layer holds, like when you're born, I can tell you definitely have more green and blue in you. That's what you are naturally gifted at, right? So that's why you do your podcast. That's awesome, because you're using your gift to serve the world, right? But at the same time, if you have more of the green and blue spectrum, you just have naturally have less the red and the orange. And those can be your born wound, that because that they don't radiate as much. So, and that's okay. We all have something that we are here to heal, right? So if you're aware of it, and then the red and the orange is related to the red aura layer is your general health, right? Your ancestral past life karmic healing, because it related to the root. And that's when when you are in the fetus, like in your mother's wounds, it already forms, that energy center already forms. So some children, I know that they were, when the mom is being pregnant, and and the mom, it was experiencing a lot of traumatic life events, and the baby feel like they're not wanted. Okay, you don't have a self awareness yet at that point, but it's already forming. So we need to heal like pretty much in this level. And that's what the root chakra is all about, safety, security, and all of that. And of course the sacral is related to our sexuality, pleasure, how, and guilt and shame is like definitely blocking it. But also it's our inner child. So that means in our early childhood, you can see how the chakra develops. That the root chakra was, you were still tiny baby, in your mother's womb. And the sacral is the early years, 0 to 7. So if at those times, or those years, you had like anything that's like sexual abuse, oh my gosh, you gotta heal that inner child for it to be really liberated and released. And of course, forgiveness, like unconditional forgiveness, is also really key, because those are the soul contracts. I would say that, like, why do you have these parents? Why do you have that bad relationships? Why there is like, don't think about why this happened to me, but also understand that we sign up these soul contracts before we were born. And don't deem it as unfair or something else, because if you don't forgive those people who you think that have done wrong to you, you will never set your soul free. So that's the more, it's not about them, it's actually about us. Once we forgive, holy cow, that's huge. I work on this piece for 3 years. I already received my spirit guidance. I'm also like up there, like my third eyes wide open. My guys always tell me, you need to forgive my mom. I had a really tough relationship going up with my mom, and they keep saying that. And I remember the first time I heard this message. I know I try to not use F word here. I literally say F you. Like, that's my immediately response. I'm like, I get like emotionally abused for my life. Like, you're telling me this? I'm like, yeah, like literally F you, right? But then, as you mentioned, as we grow older, we are wiser, we are more aware. That this is something, if you want to grow, if you want to keep growing, I mean, that's the next thing that you have to do, right? So of course it took me a while, it took me 3 years. So I finally forgave her. And the magical part about this is actually not about her anymore. It's what I realize is that her energy field doesn't affect me anymore. that's what I really call the core cutting, where I perform, like I do some psychic surgery on people to cut, these karmic cords. What happened is that even we are in the same field, like even the talking and all that, I don't react the way I used to be. Like her, whatever she's doing to try to annoy me, it doesn't work anymore. And even she noticed that. She was trying to poke me, but it doesn't work anymore, because whatever she do, she does or say and all that, you are energetically, disentangled with this particular soul. So the same thing goes to your wound. Like whether you have been sexually assaulted or attacked in any way and all that, if you kind of release that soul contract, it's almost like, okay, one and done. And guess what, if you don't do that, it's just going to come back, just in different ways, almost like different person. Or if you don't do it this lifetime, you get to learn this another lifetime. So that's why I'm like, it's better to once and for all at a soul level that we heal this. And actually these there was another thing, another miracle. That's what happened literally just last week before we do this recording. It's I actually used the same method. My mom was diagnosed with stage 1 liver cancer 2 months ago, and I told her that, because I tune into the spirit realm, I know that she still have anger and resentment that stays in the liver, for her parents. The same thing. See, where I was like, once I heal mine, it's time for her to heal hers, almost like it's a trigger. So that I told her, Mom, maybe it's time for you to forgive grandma and grandpa. It's party time. And of course she was started to sob. I know she wasn't ready to have a deeper conversation. I just left it at that. And she did only like 2 times targeted radiation therapy, and guess what, her liver cancer is gone, because she chose to forgive her parents. I cannot interject her soul as to whether she chose to do it or not, but I just relay the information, and that's it. Like I think soul healing comes once you really forgive from your heart. It goes into your mental state, like your belief will shift. That's your sacral chakra, where your mental body, and that mental body will shift your emotional body. That's your sacral chakra. It heals your emotion. That belief will give you a, like, the emotion, positive emotion, the love, the gratitude, the joy, all of the good stuff. And when you feel that, because the physical body is the innermost layer, that's powered by the red aura layer. It's like onion peels, right? Once you come from the outside in, your body just heal naturally. So a lot of people still think, those are miracles, that healing happens like, oh, how do you do this woo woo thing and then you heal your physical body? That's because that's how our soul is made up of. We make up of onion layers of light. And if we work on every single aura layer, you are healthy, you are happy, and you manifest also super fast, because that's manifesting is from the inside out, because you have the universe as your partner. Like once you know your soul's purpose, like really well, like you know your soul gift really well, and there is no uncertain, like you're sending a very strong signal, because then you feel the emotion of I'm powerful, and then you have the belief that I am this powerful. There is no imposter syndrome, and then you send a really strong signal out to the universe. Hey, by the way, spirit team, I'm ready to manifest this. I'm able to hold this, and guess what, the universe work with you. So that's, I would say that this system not only helps you to heal, from a soul level, from the outside in, it also helps you to manifest in alignment from the inside out.
Mm, I love that. And I was just having a conversation this morning with somebody, and it came back to that. So I always know I'm in alignment when it feels like one interview just picks up on the last conversation, adding some more depth.
Yes.
But I find it so interesting because I remember when I first started seeking and really discovering all that was available to me, whether it's astrology, Enneagram, human design, numerology. At first, it was exciting, and then it was overwhelming, and then it created a lot of doubt. Like, how can like, which one's true? Which one do I follow? And now I've gotten to a place where I think it's because I'm not reaching outside of myself for the answers. I know a lot of truth and everything else is just reflecting things back to me. So I'm coming at it from a different energy. And I'm seeing how no matter which one I dive into, it's like a perfect reflection for what I need at the time from that system. And what you were sharing actually reminded me of, I was looking into my life path numbers recently, and I was actually going back with my parents as well, because I think for a while, I had a pretty good childhood with them. I mean, there was divorce, there was them getting at each other. There's plenty of things I can bring up. but I, at the beginning of my spiritual exploration or self-development path, I inadvertently developed just resentment towards my parents for different things because I was more aware all of a sudden. And then I realized, like, I chose them, what was in it for me, but there was still some sort of subconscious things like, I wish my parents were already on this spiritual path. I wish my parents had shown me entrepreneurship, like just these little things. But it's funny because when I was looking at my life path numbers, there were a lot of like the surface level entrepreneurship, spirituality didn't matter as much because I realized I've always sort of felt like I was picking up where my dad left off. He kept trying to be an entrepreneur and he kept failing, in my mom's words, like, oh, he'll just give up on that, which was another thing I had to overcome because I took that on. I was like, my dad doesn't follow through with anything. Once he died, I kind of took that on. But long story short, when I was looking at his numerology, I realized that my mom was born a 9, and this is like the karmic closer. And my dad was actually born as a life path 5, a freedom seeker. He ended up changing his last name because he had a lot of trauma. His dad was abusive, ended up being a murderer. It was dark, but he changed his last name so he wouldn't carry that on. And when he did that, he technically changed his life path number to a master 11. And I was going in it with ChatGPT, and it said, like, he didn't just rewrite his identity, he opened a door. But then his soul urge number is 33-6, which is the healer's number. My life path number is a 33-6. And so I had this like overwhelming moment of, I really did. Oh, I feel like I'm going to cry. I really did pick up where he left off. And so instead of just like, I have to do this for him, I could picture my dad laying down the bricks of my path, like the ones, oh, I didn't know I was going to get emotional like this, but like the ones I could walk on more easily. And so it just immediately dissolved any resentment or criticisms I had for the things that they didn't do right. And my mom's plays into it in a whole different way, but I'll spare that. But yeah, it was like, I didn't just forgive them. Suddenly I felt so much gratitude for the way they brought, even though they had a religion that I didn't follow, like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the work that they did. So just your talk of the soul contracts and the parents and everything just brought that up. And it was a very healing moment for me.
Actually, that's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. That's so beautiful. And that's literally a walking example of what I just meant. You felt it in your emotional body. Crying is good because that means you felt it. And as you said, that it alchemized that resentment, you alchemize it into unconditional love and gratitude. See how beautiful that is? So that's exactly what I had experienced. So that's why my mom has this deep level of healing. And you said it beautifully that the life path number, how your dad changes that and lay the brick and foundation for you to do that. Oh my gosh, that's like I feel like goosebumps, like full body chills of when you said the truth. That's what it is, right? But instead of like resenting or judging of what they can or cannot do, we just know that we completely accept who they are, and at the same time we have our own purpose. And you're definitely the healer plus entrepreneur soul gift archetype. You have more than one because you've been working on your soul for so long. And you said it's not like I love that. That's not coincidence. It's almost like why you chose them as your parents. That's exactly the reason why, and you saw it. That's like freaking golden. That's like golden. And that actually going to help you. You are also like shifting into teacher soul gift archetype. I don't know whether you are aware of it or not. You're born with your throat is like born with strong, the second with your heart, right? And the yellow, your gut instinct. I mean, those are your strong aura layers, and you use them, in the podcast. And now, as you are understanding or healing this root chakra, layer wound that's one of you were born with actually. But however, because of this transformation, actually, it's going to become your gift right now. And remember how they pair up, that when the red pair up with the blue, that's going to help you becoming a teacher. And you will see, like, because right now you have three soul gift archetypes. The magical thing is that people on this spiritual path, if you're in like your body can hold more than three soul gift archetypes simultaneously, you will notice your manifestation gets faster. So the magic actually, like whatever you send out to the universe, you actually get it faster in return, because you're, as you said, you're totally in alignment with your soul's purpose, and you are walking this path, and you're using all of these gifts together. I can't wait to see what evolves, beyond this podcast. Of course, this is super successful podcast. I love that. And I really love your heartfelt, really heartfelt realization of what you just processed. And actually, that's how I sometimes work privately with my clients, and that's exactly what you exemplify. And think about how big this healing. And I would also highly recommend, maybe journal it down and incorporating that, like, because sometimes we experience these moments, and then we go on our day, and sometimes we forgive about it, like forget about it. So the good thing is that if you can like meditate on it, journal about it, you want to do some automatic writing after this particular moment, it will incorporate. Now, the main thing about sustaining, like, it's good to do healing. So once you heal, I can see your auric field already expand and more vibrant, but you also want it to sustain. So basically, like, integrate in your daily life. It's part of your, almost like part of your guiding system as you move through life. From now on, I'm not going to judge. You can project that almost to others. Once you can do it for your parents, yeah, that's the soul contract. And then once you can do that, I can do that, I'm sure you will be able to like do it to other people. And that's when we really integrate this lesson. Like, it's almost like in our bloodstream. And last lifetime, when you're born, it's already your gift. You don't need to suffer from this anymore. Now, maybe something else, but like not this particular thing. And think about how good it is, that knowing, if you journal it down, incorporating your daily life, knowing that you are a walking unconditional love. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
that's like freaking amazing.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's funny that you said you're moving into the healer teacher. I had a very powerful experience. I did a plant medicine ceremony for my 40th in May. And the whole theme that just kept coming through with all the little modalities that we did was an initiation as a teacher. And it came through in multiple different ways. One of them was realizing, like, a couple of things that happened in the last year where I almost felt like I got scammed by things. And it was like realizing that was trying to show me, stop reaching outside of yourself for the answers. It's right here. But then there was this really powerful, after some 5-MeO DMT, of like realizing, I was having this initiation, and I was asking questions like, am I being initiated? And then I was getting the answers that, like, it all is one. So self-initiation is the same as being initiated. You just have to claim it. And so much of it was about claiming the teacher and realizing like you're not just going to become the teacher. There's an aspect of it where you have to claim it. You have to actually claim it for yourself. And so I've been playing with that. It's been part of a lot of my meditations. And so you saying that, I was like, you see something, don't you, Helen?
Yes, I see everything. Because when you mentioned that, okay, then I can go deeper. I know you're ready. It's not, I hope I hope your audience is ready. But basically in 2018, I had my first Kundalini awakening. So when I tune into the quantum field, here's the truth. Okay, so first of all, I'm able to read your spirit guides and they're nodding their head that you're ready to be a teacher. I love that. And you realize that. I was just sending you some confirmation because I know your soul evolution growth journey. That's like laying out in the book. But what's another deeper level is that the truth in the quantum is that time is not linear. So it's not like, past, future, whatever. It's not like that. Okay, that's man-made. The real time, or there was no time. Okay, actually, there is no time. That's not a concept in the quantum field. So the truth is that there were multiple versions of you stacked up with one on each other. So why the spiritual or the sages call like quantum leaping or quantum jumping or whatever, what they're talking about is this particular truth, is that there were multiple versions of you already in the quantum field. Now which version of you want to access, or which reality you want to live, it depends on your current vibration frequency. So literally what you were just saying, claiming that identity, claiming that new identity, it's because you want to jump to that version of you. Now, if anything, that's just slightest coming across your desire. It means that there is a version of you already living that reality in the quantum field. Otherwise, it wouldn't even come across to you. You won't desire it like at all. Like for example, my husband loves cars, right? Like I have no desire to get a fancy car. Okay, so that means that that's not my reality. But in his reality, there are multiple that has maybe like 11, 12 cars. I don't care, right? You see what I mean? If that's coming across to your mind in any way, that means there is a version of you already having that. And the trick to get it faster, just like exactly what you just point out, to claim that new identity. And the funny thing is, I always introduce myself. This is the Helen 5.0 you see. You will have no idea of who the heck the 1.0 is. Okay, so you don't recognize her, and people does this quite often. You will see that their fan group sometimes even cannot catch the reality they are doing, because I'm going to say that you can just jump to that version of you, and the first thing to do is literally claim the identity. And how do you have that confidence, that courage, that unswerving belief that you are that, right? A lot of people, what's blocking people from claiming that is that fear or uncertainty or unsure whether they're good enough and all that stuff, right? What gives you that courage, confidence, and belief to do that without any doubt? It's knowing yourself very deeply. That's why you need to know your soul's purpose. That's why like if you are born this soul gift archetype, there's nothing else you can do. Just like I was born an artist. If I don't do art, I don't do myself a service, right? Until they hit you rock. So once you have that, you claim that. I still remember my first when I formed my first business, it was like a feng shui interior design business. I quit my PhD, okay? I quit a PhD where people thought you become a professor and you're going to make a lot of money and things like that, right? That's a fucking huge jump. But guess what I do? I literally went to an event that has a bunch of my potential clients, and I introduced to them that I am a feng shui interior designer. Like I don't even have a project yet. My business is not even formed yet. The paperwork is still undergoing. I don't even have a business card. But I tell people, you know what? I'm a feng shui interior designer. But I did went to architecture interior design school to get my license. That's the truth, right? But and then reclaim my third generation feng shui master. And guess what? That's my first business check. So that lady, a Brazilian lady, like a wedding gown showroom owner came to me and say that, wow, I really like your energy. I don't even like, she had no idea. I didn't show any portfolio or anything. I got hired right there. So that was like when you mentioned about the teacher identity. I don't know like how you want to manifest it, because teacher can be many forms. But if you have that, like, I'm going to claim it, this is the version of you, I'm just going to jump to that. I don't care. That's from the inside out. That's a manifestation. You know yourself, in, and then you feel the emotion. You're feeling like, I'm holding it. You have that belief, the mental aura layer, and now you're getting to your heart. And heart is the most magnetic frequency of all the chakra is, right? And that's when you attract synchronicity, opportunities, and the right people in your life. Once you attract, I would say that it's like the Taoism talking about the least effort, the art of least effort. It's actually sometimes it's non-action is better than busy action. So you become, actually you're just flowing with ease rather than hustle and chasing. The same with the book contract I got from Hay House. A lot of people will ask, oh, who's your book agent? How do you land the contract? I tell them that, you know what? I just attracted it because I was so in alignment with birthing this book, which I have no idea I'm going to write a 300 pages book. I literally thought that it's going to be a coffee table book with some of my paintings on it and some poetry. But my spirit guide gave me this, so I downloaded it. I have it written, and I receive an email in my inbox from Hay House. Hey, we have a writers community. If you want to join, you can get a chance to compete and publish with us. I know it's like a sign for my full freaking body. I didn't even have a book agent. I never contacted any publisher, and I just received this email. So of course I enter and I won the competition. But before I even joined, I already knew. It's not from arrogance or from the ego. It's because it's in alignment. And that's the manifestation I'm teaching all my students to do, to just work on yourself, work on all your aura layers, and all that goodies are going to come to you. You don't need to do anything. So I'm like, that's how beautiful it is, right? And talking about knowing yourself, like get that confidence. I remember you mentioned that because you need some confirmation along the way, right? Sometimes you get a little bit like unsure. I feel like I'm going to be a teacher, but I'm like not 100% sure. There were a couple things that I recommend the audience or my students doing is, first, of course, trust your intuition. Connect with your team. That's your most trusted ongoing guidance. GPS, I would say internal GPS. And the second thing is that I develop, I call it a synthesized reading for all spiritual wisdom, because you mentioned that one of your synchronicity be the life path number with your father, right? Mm-hmm. So I know all spiritual wisdom holds truth. No matter which system you use, they hold truth. So from all my past life studies until I birthed this groundbreaking system, I actually synthesized a reading with all the spiritual wisdom in it. But it's not 300 pages long. It's like 5-6 pages long. So it's like you can use, I do also Vedic astrology, because Vedic astrology and Western astrology, they use different, like the zodiac calendar and the Gregorian calendar. So it's a little bit different. So Vedic, Western, numerology, enneagram, genie keys, human design, and I also throw in astrocartography, so where your soul is best located, right? And of course, the oracular wheel. I have all of it together, and I have like almost like a Venn diagram of like different bubbles, and your soul purpose being in the middle, and it tells you like what's your gift. Like if you're doing this, you are doing your soul a service. You will have abundance in it, and then also what's blocking you. Like what is here that you're here to heal so that you can achieve better fulfillment, and also what fuels you, like what makes you joy, what makes you happy, what gets you, motivates you and get you going, right? And once you kind of like, those are the the intersection with your soul's purpose. But like every reading, it doesn't need to, like, of course, human design, we all talk about projectors, manifestor. I mean, that's the surface level. What you really need to look at is actually your incarnation cross. that's like the global incarnation cross. That freaking one sentence already tells exactly why I'm here. Like, I wish I had known. Like, when I begin my spiritual journey, because I was completely lost, right? I was a PhD student. I thought I'm going to be happy, getting a good job, also engaged to my husband. I should be super happy. I wasn't. I went to my yoga studio. That was my first, spiritual journey. And there is a Vedic astrologer in house. So I just do a reading. I had no idea what Vedic astrology is. Okay. And the astrologer told me that, hey, Helen, your dharma or your life purpose this lifetime is to create. And I'm like, I have nothing that's close to creativity at that point in my life. I'm like, and how do you know me so well without knowing me, right? Like, just one set. I think wisdom or truth can be said in one or two sentences. It doesn't have to be 350 pages. And I'm like, when that happens, I become an avid student. I study it for like 14 years of every single possible spiritual system, that I can go down to the rabbit hole of who I am at a soul level. And I'm like, wow. And in the Human Design Global Incarnation Cross, that one sentence literally says that you are here to create your own system and live as an example and guide others to do so. I'm here to create my own system, living as example and guiding others to do so. In one sentence, what else do you need? I'm like, mind blown. Okay, so it's like, those truth. I mean, it can get really in depth, like, people certify in different area, because you can get like get a book out of that reading. But what I'm here to synthesize it distill it into that one sentence. And once you know that, like, so real, like, for example, I'm sure when you look into your chart, you will find something about your teacher archetype. Why do you evolve from an entrepreneur to healer to teacher? That's what you have already evolved. And you can shape shift in them in any given time right now. And I'm sure you will once you get the teacher, you will get another soul gift archetype. And that's when your manifestation gets really sweet. Like, you don't feel like you need to do a lot of hustling and chasing to get what you desire. And there is a reason. And then once you read that, you're like, oh, that's the reason why I'm. And once you have that, like, in your bones, will you hesitate? Will you still have that imposter syndrome telling people that, hey, I'm a teacher? No, you won't. You would be like, you would just jump in the stage, or jump on the stage and just talk to people of what your expertise is. Like, you don't even have fear or doubt, won't even go through your mind for a slip of second. That's when this work gets really, really powerful. So it's just like you just open up I really like conversation with you, because you are a really deep thinker and you're very aware. You are very underlined, so I love this conversation. So that's why I want to get deeper. That's how the real magic happens. And thank you for letting me going on for a while.
No, I loved it. And so much of it is confirmation for me on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Way back in the beginning, you said, journal about this afterwards. And just 2 days ago, I restarted my written journaling practice. So in the last year or so, I've been doing a lot of vocal journaling. I have an app where I can just talk to it, transcribes it. It's been very helpful. But kind of like we were talking about, I was like, well, I wonder if I need to rebalance my throat chakra. I'm using a lot of it lately. Like, maybe I don't need to speak this. And I kept getting messages about, the importance of writing by hand, which I've known for a long time, but I'm seeing them now. So I know there's something in it for me now. So I started doing my written journaling practice. And one of the things that came up was, I was kind of going through a soul wounds inventory, and I was realizing so many of the things that came up that feel like deep wounds were things I had been told about the way I looked when I was younger. And I was noticing too, though, that I don't feel like I have as many soul wounds as an adult. And I thought, well, that does make sense. I'm more aware. I can let it pass through me rather than attaching to them like I did when I was younger. But it led to this whole kind of journaling thing of how my relationship to beauty changed. I think I'm beautiful. I don't believe I'm the most beautiful person in the world. And if I'm in a low headspace, I can sit there and look in the mirror and pick out all my flaws and the things I don't like about myself. And I was having a conversation with my nanny about plastic surgery and how everyone's getting the lip fillers and everything. And so it just brought up, I wrote down, like, I used to wish that I was more beautiful, but I think I've finally gotten to a place where I appreciate that I may have the perfect amount of beauty, because a lot of the people that I know that were told they were beautiful their whole life, that became models, it's become a part of their identity. And I wrote down that the more you're attached to beauty, the tighter your soul clings to form. And beauty makes you mistake the mirror for the self, because it's kind of the most seductive form of identification. And it reinforces the ego's favorite illusion that you are what's seen. And so it's easier for me to be something else, to show up and not just walk on a stage and be like, everyone's going to think I'm beautiful. It's like, what can I share here? And I've always kind of been the first to jump on a stage and share, even before I saw myself as a teacher. So I feel like it'll be a pretty easy transition. But then even the messages that I've been getting, I went to this little day retreat, and the woman was an intuitive, and she looked at me and she's like, you have your guides all around you. You know you're a master healer, right? And she's like, yeah, you're moving into being a teacher. And I'm just hearing the exact same words from so many different sources coming at me. And so, but I guess the work is, I'm trying to just be with it rather than strive toward it. How does that change my evolution into it? Can I just sort of relax into the knowing and trust that things will fall into place? Just like with your book this year, I told you I had that powerful experience. The next month, stuff was flowing out of me. I ended up writing a book in a very short period of time. And then, like, one of my friends was like, let me connect you with my agent. And then I talked to him. He's like, I'd love to take you on. Your book is great. It's just like, I feel like I haven't even tried. And now my book is with an agent. And so it's just all this beautiful confirmation. So thank you, Helen.
Yeah. That's exactly what you like. When I work with so many clients now, I know that when you have more than 3 soul giver archetypes, your manifestation is going to be fast. And people come to you. You don't need to, go back to them. Like chase or hustle. What I love about it, thank you for this beautiful sharing. Yes, it serves as a confirmation, and also that you have that huge amount of self-awareness. You know that it's coming, and what you're doing, like I love that what you share about beauty, and that's all related to sacral chakra, just so you know, and that's what you're healing. I love that you are intentional about it, but you're not attached to it. That's so important. It's like you had this kind of subconscious question. You were kind of asking, like, I want my soul to grow. I can tell you have that motivation. I know the next, and you will know the next soul aura layer. The next aura layer is your sacral chakra. You even know that, no matter consciously or subconsciously. So you are asking about, do I put effort and, like, now I need to heal my sacral. Now I need to do this, or do I just, like, kind of let it go and see what happens? Now, I would say that what you're doing is exactly right. You saw the example of, it, you set intention to it, and when it arises, you will take actions towards it, but you are not attached to it. You are not like, okay, every single day I need to heal my sacral chakra, and then, maybe after a month, my sacrals are healed. You know what I mean? You are not doing the 3D stuff. You're doing the quantum stuff. That's what quantum healing comes from. Because remember, in the quantum, time is an illusion. There is no such a thing. And also, attachment becomes clingy. That's what our ego does. You don't let the ego get into the way. That's like a lot of people hard to get to that point, and you're already there. You notice that. Oh, I'm aware. This is what I'm going to work on. But you're not, setting a time that next year by this particular time, my sacral is healed. Because I can tell that what you're doing is that you also need, in order to hold that vision, I already know what your vision, in order to hold that vision into reality that you really, really want, you also need an entertainer soul gift archetype. That's why you feel like the sacral chakra is important to you. not only healing your soul wound, to help you balance out the whole system, but also, sacral and heart, those two combination becomes a really powerful entertainer. Now, entertainer is not just actors or actresses or models. They can be event host. If you want to host an event, if you want to host a retreat, if you want to hold a room, basically you want to fill up a room, all of these require that entertainer soul gift archetype. And that's what you kind of, yet subconsciously, unconsciously know that I want to go there, because that's what my vision really complete. So that's why you mentioned about this, and that's absolutely beautiful. And I call it, what you're talking about, I call it sacred beauty. It's beauty is such an important word to me, and they're not just about how you look and how, like, it because beauty is a portal, actually. When you, and that's the portal to the divine, actually get you closer to it. And it's absolutely not just about appearance. Okay, that's why my business is even called Helen Creates Beauty. But a lot of people will say that, oh, is it beauty products? I'm like, no, that has nothing to do with it. It's that type of beauty. It's completely, I would say, it's a union with the divine. And that you begin to seek that, instead of how do you look, do you need a Botox, do you need some lip filler, do you need this and that. And that's, you are absolutely beautiful and radiant as you are, Melissa. There is nothing wrong. And to be honest, I tell a lot of, that's body image, by the way. Body image is related to the sacral chakra, of course, right? So a lot of my client has that insecurity about that, and they already look, to me, they already look freaking beautiful. I don't know why you want like this artificial, because that's the society or the patriarchic or way of looking at it. And if you look throughout the history of human history, different period of time, people regard different things as beautiful, right? And I remember in a period of time in China, they think, women who are overweight or actually are big are beautiful. Think about that. It's not like it's the, don't fall into the society's standard of what that act is, right? And I just find it like very inspiring that you channel that. What you just did is like, so basically your guy is actually asking you to do automatic writing, and I'm sure that you've already done that. That's why you get your book out so fast. When you channel writing, you don't go from your cognitive mind. That's when like the magic happens. That's why you get picked, a book agent will contact you, things like that, right? So that's like you are in the divine flow. That's like, it's beautiful to actually see. That's like, I mean, you are in the middle of it, Melissa. There is no doubt about it. And it's absolutely beautiful that you are actually using the system, kind of in a subconscious level, not like, I need to put effort and all that. And you're absolutely killing it.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, this has been so much confirmation for me. And I love leaving listeners with something to either think about or do to just sort of bring some of what they've learned into their life this week. What would you leave them with?
Yeah, I would say that, have this idea of you are light. It's hard for people to even think that you are light and not this, physical body. That's something that I would challenge you to contemplate on. And the second thing, meditation is at the end what got me here. So I would highly recommend you to do meditation, even that means just 5 conscious breath on a daily basis. 5 minutes, I'm asking you, and have time to sit with your soul. It's almost like the alone time. You need that to get to that self-reflection level. So I hope that helps you.
For listeners who are resonating and they want to know what their soul aura color is, where's the best place for them to connect and take your quiz and find your book?
Definitely. All my offerings are on my website homepage. Please scroll down. There's a lot of goodies. It's called helencreatesbeauty.com. So www.helencreatesbeauty.com. You can take the quiz free there. Also, right now I'm still running the promotion. So if you get the book for $20, you get to join the Oracle Wheel Circle, where I do monthly live Q&A and spirit message reading for you. So you kind of have a guy also doing an ongoing soul evolution journey. And also, you get to receive a personalized feng shui birth element and gua number reading. A lot of people love it. So, with that reading, you are able to identify your feng shui lucky direction for wealth, health, spiritual growth, and love. And then, lastly, remember meditation, it's the main thing. You get $50 off my Rainbow Aura meditation bundle. So that meditation bundle has 49 original frequency music, originally composed by a Colombian musician, to really target it in your subconscious mind, how to raise your vibration for every single aura layer. And yeah, that's one of my gifts to the world. And also, there was a free masterclass on the website if you want to sign up.